Peace and blessings. Greetings to everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Man, listen, y'all, I went outside. I woke up and there was a tall tale sign that the inside of the house was cold, right? And I still tried to bundle up a little bit, because it's been pretty nice. I know yesterday was a little cooler than normal, but yeah, listen, this morning that hawk chased me right back in the house. That's all I got to say. So it was cold off. Everybody staying warm, staying bundled up and staying secure. And I hope everybody's having a good day. Come on in if you want to come in. If you don't mind, just tapping the like button if you haven't already. And yeah, if you haven't become a member, consider doing so. I think that the link is pinned to the top of the chat. Peace and blessings to the chat. We got Sis Your Thoughts in the building. Hey, sis, thank you for being here. We got Just Saying in the building. Yes, peace and blessings, man. Your thoughts. Listen, Linda. The sun is shining. I think that's what kind of fooled me and had it in disguise because that wind is no joke outside. Okay. So listen, we're going to go right into it. For those, I know people are still coming in and it's all good. Feel free to go back and rewind. But the topic basically is this can be like an ever revolving topic, unfortunately. But it needs to be discussed. We need to talk about it. We can sit back and talk about an array of subjects and cover a lot of different things that are pertinent to our everyday lives. However, without a solid relationship or at least some wherewithal when it comes to how to navigate, even if it's deciding if a relationship is something that you're ready for, something that you want, something that you're equipped to deal with long term, short term, creating a family with children. If you don't want children, there's a lot of different things to consider, right? So, but I want to focus on the breakdown of our relationships and give some real life perspectives and true feelings from different people that are having different experiences in such a time as we are in. I was raised in an era where families stayed together, whether it was functional, whether it was dysfunctional. There's a lot of wiggle room when it comes to how people feel about staying in a relationship, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, ups and downs, roads. I think we've come to a point where a lot of our people don't have a tolerance for other people's imperfections. We don't have a tolerance to give people grace. We lack a tolerance to really just kind of forgive and move on, or at least look at the bigger picture or the bigger perspective of what relationships are compiled with. And one of the perspectives that I really loved hearing when I was doing, my due diligence on trying to find content to echo my sentiments, was the smart guy. And I did a small clip of him in my last video, but his perspective was so relatable. I thought that I could actually, get away with using a different clip from a different interview in regards to the relationship aspect of our people, the breakdown of the relationship, where the focus should be, how we should be navigating, getting a clarity on the natural order of things, on how the hierarchy in the relationship is biblically and historically designed to be, and how as a result, because we have dismantled that, and as a collective culture in this country, there has been intention and by design to disintegrate, to divide, and to dismantle the family unit and the family core, because family divided against itself cannot stand, right? And so when it comes to relationships, historically, the bonds between the brothers and the sisters have been sources of strength and resilience forged in the shared struggles against slavery, things like discrimination. When it comes to devaluing one another or being devalued by societal norms, these things they matter and they're important, and they have been progressing over a long period of time, while our focuses have been on different things. Now you're talking about weapons and that didn't appear to be weapons initially, but now that people are becoming aware and waking up and understanding that this has been an intentional effort to dismantle and to separate the core family, to allow and to get us to a point where we are vulnerable more separately than we would ever be together, right? So come on in, chat. Come on in. Peace and blessings. We got Tajaga in the building. Hey, Evo. Good to see you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. We got the pretty lady, Miss Chicago, coming into the building. We got my Tajaga in the building. Yes, indeed. Y'all come on in, and thank you for engaging in the chat. Thank you for tapping that like button. And let's get started. Okay, let's go, y'all. Put a 1 in the chat if the volume is good, if you can hear me okay, and everything is good before I, get into my bag. So if y'all can put a 1 in the chat, things are good. If not, then I'll make the necessary adjustments. So, oh yeah, I wanted to do a little something different in that regard too. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me, y'all. I'm doing a little house cleaning. I know normally I come on camera, but I have been shaking and moving all day, and I don't feel like it today. Okay. I feel like doing a whole lot of extra. So just bear with me. The message will resonate the same. Thank you, chat, for confirming that my volume is good. I appreciate y'all. Amen. Amen. All right, y'all, let's go.
And that man has to ask for provision and then allocate that provision into his endeavors. And once he does that, he will get the monetary gain from the empowerment of provision. And through that monetary gain, he can be the protector, provider, and maintainer.
I got it now. Thoughts on monogamy? Thoughts on monogamy?
Yeah, I think it's situational, right? And we have to be careful if we buy into the Americanized version of relationships and marriages, because in Islam it's okay to have multiple wives.
Do you agree with that?
It's in the Quran. I'm gonna say I don't agree with a lot, right? I think when we start to look at America's concept for relationships and stuff like that, when we look at how does 5 families run the whole world? And what's the census of those family members, right? I think that every situation is different, and I don't want my beliefs to have an impact on people's relationships, right? In terms of that regard, like how many or whatever. What I want to say is the black man has to be the head of his household. And the key to him being the head of his household is getting his provision. The black woman has to understand that she's being utilized to destroy the power structure of the black family. And when she understands that, and she stops letting the white man give her all these so-called government options, she can be dependent on her man, because her wisdom understands that that's the best thing to be dependent upon.
Bingo. So let's talk about that for a hot second. Someone has to be the head of the household. Women were not equipped to be the head of the household, because if that was the case, we wouldn't need men, nor would we need the participation and the seed of a man to procreate and bring forth life, right? It is no secret that a woman's role and in order responsibility is not just to bring forth and bear the life, but to nurture, care, and teach the life that we bring forth. And we can't do that effectively if we're providing, or if we have made the government and subsidies and programs that come from people that have no vested interest in us, our man, and our head of household. So basically, I would say a larger portion than we should have replaced our men for independence, quote unquote, us not feeling the need for a man in the household. How is that working for us? Women, how is that working for us? Okay. When you're talking about forced separations during slavery, to policies that penalized households with present fathers, like Section 8, the welfare system, right? It's done nothing but sown seeds of division. And instead of owning that, we are walking around, and when I say we, I'm speaking on a collective level. We are the only people that don't find value of our men being the head of the household and the leader of the family unit, the respect. Okay, now this is a two-part and a twofold discussion, because there are men out here that, whether they know it or they don't, they're not fulfilling those roles enough to be trusted as the head of household. But when you have single mother families raising boys and raising boys to become men, there are going to be elements that are not going to be taught or instilled, because guess what? We were not built with that same or those same characteristics to pass that along, right? So I just wanted to put that and insert that, because I'm going to let him cook. Evo, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, just because. Appreciate you for blessing the platform. Thank you, thank you. And let's go.
And if he is unreliable, then she understands the reasons why he's unreliable, and she can help nurture him to a point of reliability. Through that love. And the three phases of love I talked about, which is informative, unconditional, and accountability.
Do you think that women, being as ambitious and business oriented and things like that now contributes to that destruction that you're speaking about?
But that ambition was
Because when he said that, that's the first thing I heard. I'm like,
but that ambition was inserted into her subconscious mind by the white man. That's why we bring it back to the Willie Lynch letters, right? We're gonna hyper-emasculate the woman, and then we're gonna emasculate the black man, and that was the agenda. So now, I can't bear kids, right?
So it's a problem?
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not here to pass judgment. Only God can do that.
It's a problem.
I'm here to give information. No, this is what I'm saying. When we understand what hasn't worked for us, then we have to come to terms with that reality. And that's
bingo. How is it working for us? It's good to some people to want to have a pissing contest, but we don't even pee the same. So how can we expect for the conversation to be equal? How can we expect to match energy when energetically we are created and we move differently? We have different roles, we have different assignments, we have different strengths, because everybody can't do the same job. We are not constructed as women to go out and change tires, to pick up weights, to go out and bodybuild. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, you can defy the norms all day long. At the end of the day, it is going to stand out, and there will be consequences, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, I just want to notice and make note that this young lady, she's a wife, she's a mother. You can tell she's a businesswoman, okay? She's on a podcast. And when he mentioned the fact of establishing that women have been hypermasculated, which means basically that now women can match men's energy in conversation, in the workplace, in every aspect, right? In a woman's mind, whether it's a modern woman, whether it's a woman that came from a movement where of the feminist movement, whatever, a lack of father in the household in her upbringing, there could be several different components. It could be one component. The issue is that she is really getting ready to turn up, so to speak, because she's not understanding, nor is she really, in my opinion, listening to what he's saying. She's so quick to get her point across and to get her thoughts off that you can't possibly listen if the brother can't even get his full thought out, right? Let's go.
It's accountability. So when we talk about divorce rates, when we talk about the man being this and the man not doing that, right? Well, if my relationship with God is not strong,
Smart.
If my relationship with God,
Smart.
if my
I'ma bring you
relationship
in.
with
Going back
God,
to
I'm
God.
gonna bring you in. I'm gonna bring you in. Smart.
Yeah.
I need clear answers.
He mentioned God and she continued to talk over him. He mentioned God and she's calling him by name as if she's politely cutting him off, if there's such a thing. And she is so eager and so adamant about getting her thoughts off and her being heard that she is not even listening to him use the terminology that as a wife should shut her up, in my opinion. If my husband or my significant other is having a discussion with me, even though he's not her significant other, I'm just saying, if it was and he uttered the word God and we're having a conversation as important that is prevalent to the family unit, I am going to be quiet. We have one mouth, two ears, and two eyes for a reason. But I digress. Mel says, "Hey Mel, thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. I appreciate you, your support, your knowledge, your contributions to the channel, to the collective, to our students. Mel Dub is a teacher that really has a vested interest in raising our children in the classroom, or educating, not raising, educating our children. So he says slavery sustainability dependent on female slaves viewing the master, the governor, as the patriarchy. Using women to emasculate Black men is historical. And that really, thank you so much for that. That also gives credence to the point of why, because in war, the sides are going to use the tactics that have worked, that have been prehistorically successful. So it really falls into play, and it really didn't take long once the attraction to the women and to the single mothers to remove the fathers out of the home through helping them, establish the illusion, in my opinion, of stability. It also crippled us as a collective and as mothers, in my opinion, right? And so with that, the tactic has worked. They're going to re-implement it, represent it in a different form. They're going to definitely, if it worked before, we're going to do this one more time, okay? And the women just fall right in the line. Oh, we don't need a daddy in the house. I ain't got to listen to him. I can raise these kids the way I want to raise them. I can do what I want. I can spend my money the way I want. I can go to work without having my husband tell me that I need to be at home raising these kids and that I can't go to work. Boy, I tell you, the longer I live, the more the more I realize, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But let's go. I digress.
I did.
I need clear
But I'm making
answers.
listen, hold on.
I need you to
hold on.
explain to me
I did.
in plain context without taking it to the moon. I need you to explain to me.
I didn't
Is
take
an
it to the moon.
ambitious woman a problem? You say yes,
No,
right?
I
Or did you not say that?
I didn't say yes or no. This is what I said.
Because she ain't listening. She's not listening. First of all, you don't need to be putting words in nobody's mouth. And particularly the guest of the podcast that you found value enough to come and speak his piece and to give his information and present it to your podcast and to your people, to your subscribers, to your audience, and you won't even let the man finish his thought. And then when he tries to still get his thought across respectfully while being cut off, you putting words in his mouth. And he's saying, no, I didn't say that one way or the other.
Because I'm learning that sometimes a person's emotions about what I'm saying makes it hard to look at the context of what I'm saying. So they hear what they want to hear. So I'm making adjustments because my goal is to help our people.
You never know. Give it to them real, though.
I am.
Yeah.
No,
So-
but wait.
so
what he's saying, I get that.
Yeah, I get it too.
So what I'm saying is a woman has a particular role, and if she doesn't play that role, there's no family or no family structure. A man, the black man, has a role he has to play. If he doesn't play that role, there's no family or family structure. So you've been taught that you're maintaining a child is raising a child as a single mother. So you're thinking that, oh, food, clothes, and shelter, it's not raising a child. That's maintaining a child. To raise a child, you need man and woman in that household.
He is absolutely on point 100%. Raising a child and maintaining a child are two totally different things. Maintaining children or a child, raising them, or what we classify as raising them by providing them with their needs instead of nurturing, raising, teaching, educating, being present, and showing them how to love, how to take on the characteristics or to interpret a certain expectation of characteristics if you're raising sons as to what to expect from a woman. And we wonder why we are currently in a generation where women don't even have respect for men. They don't want to hear anything they have to say. They're combative. And I'm speaking on a collective level. I am not by any means in anyone's specific household. I am just saying that there is an obvious and apparent breakdown in the family structure. And it seems to only be particularly focused on Black people, for lack of better words. Some people to say, well, ain't no such thing as Black people. Look, I can't keep up with all the current terminology. It switches from day to day. But you know what I'm saying when I do say Black people, right? And then you have the media representations that further exacerbate the breakdown by perpetuating stereotypes that pit the Black men and the women against each other. This is a prime example. We are out of order. Let's go.
You need a coalition of masculine and feminine energy working simultaneously together. But just because you get support from the government, you mistake the maintenance as the raising. And then now the child is up because that daughter doesn't see a man in the home. So she doesn't know how to be nurturing for the man that eventually is in her home.
The support from the government, you mean like
Government
Section 8.
yeah, that type of stuff.
Right.
on that.
Okay, got it.
But-
I'm asking because I want it
but
from
you're-
you.
but you're being-
a man, a
welfare,
woman
Section
that
8.
has a
Yeah, that type
successful
of stuff.
But you
business.
can't. But you can't.
I'm not talking about Section 8.
You can't.
Is
you
that a
can't-
problem?
You can't.
I'm not talking about Section 8. Nobody is on Section 8.
You can't spin me. What I'm saying is Section 8 is a thing.
Nobody's on Section 8.
The government assistance.
You done made that clear. You done said that 4 or 5 different times, but you still haven't allowed him to complete his original thought, his original point. He even said, look, I want to put this, allow me to put this in the context. So he may not even be realizing to not be disrespectful, get seeking permission from her to say, allow me to finish my point, sister. Allow me to get it out. Allow me to be able to articulate myself without you leading me and telling me how to speak. Because if she knew what he was trying to say, then she wouldn't have the need to ask him questions specifically or otherwise. Let's go.
That the black woman receives as an independent has been strategic, and her receiving that has developed a mindset that to this day makes that woman comfortable that she has an option of independence that was created. So again, I'm not here to,
I want to understand. I want to understand.
I got you.
Is a woman.
I can't dumb down. I can't dumb down what I'm saying for nobody.
A black woman.
Yeah.
Because I think we might be talking about two separate things.
No.
Maybe.
No,
Possibly.
he led it to it with the.
He's saying that this being the case before, this conditioning before,
Made them independent. Now they
historically
working
has
hard.
now created this need for black women to have independence, and now that independence is progressed
Because
into,
of Section 8 and
Like,
the government.
because
back
it was
then,
independent
you
by
know,
itself.
in the
So now I
70s
gotta
and
hustle.
60s, that was the thing.
Then
You
they
know,
let
Okay,
Section
so
8
now
get
that
food
we're
stamps.
here,
Right.
that's the reason that we got here.
Yeah.
That's fine. So now
But
that
we're
we're
here now.
here, is that causing a problem now that we're here?
I'm not listen, Linda. Okay, y'all, I'm starting to get triggered. My bad. Instead, she's still not listening. She is still not listening. Okay? Now that we're here. Okay, yeah, I heard what you said, but basically now that we're here, this is where I want to, let's address this. I got another question. Can the man articulate himself? Can he get his thoughts out? Can he put it into proper context as a man? This is what I mean by women don't have respect for men leading. The man can't even get his thoughts out through his words in a civil round the table discussion without being cut off. I can only imagine what her husband has to endure at home. I'm wondering, okay? Hey, thank you, Russell Red. Salute to Russell Red for the super chat, $50 super chat, that pink bubble. Thank you so very much. He says, respect to you, Mr. Kimmy in chat. Keep blessing us with your wisdom. Much love to you and Mrs. Thoughts for keeping our sector with mature, respectful adults who can have a civil conversation. Thank you. Amen. Amen. And thank you for always showing up and showing out and reminding us that that what we have to say and our words don't fall on deaf ears. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Russell. Thank you to the chat. Salute to the chat. Much love to the chat. Y'all, let's go. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to Phoenix. I appreciate y'all. I see you, Andre. You say you good. No more meetings for the day. Listen, and it's Friday. Okay, turn up. And listen, don't be going after my girl. Your thoughts. She ain't getting timed out. Okay. All right then. All right, let's go.
The reason
If you don't listen because you have a financial option to be deaf, does it cause a problem?
Ooh, he gonna repeat that. But I didn't want, listen, that's a bar. Let's go. Oh my goodness, let's go.
Ooh.
say it one more time.
No. If you don't listen,
That's because you ain't listening. And everybody else around you heard it, but you didn't hear it. You won't shut up long enough for anything to process because you're listening to respond instead of listening to understand and process. Let's go.
if you don't listen, right, because you have a financial option not to be submissive, is that a problem?
Holy shit.
That when he said it the first time.
If you don't listen because you have a financial option from the government not to allow that man.
Government that be losing me.
But
he's saying on both ends.
It led from the government to that. You got your own money.
What I'm saying is this is why I say how I say it, right? I'm giving you the context. Section 8 was a real thing. It was, if you want to take care of this kid, that black man can't be in your home. You're gonna get this check, but he can't be here.
Because if you had
But
it,
hold
they
on.
wouldn't give it
But
to
the
you.
government didn't require the white farmer wife to remove her husband, and she got subsidy from the government. So the white man was allowed to stay in the home when the white farmer wife got government assistance, but the black man had to leave the home when the black man got assistance.
Put them all together.
Now, fast forward to today, okay? We deal with all types of discrimination as black men in terms of getting apartments, getting cars, getting loans, getting things in our name. It's way harder for a masculine, heterosexual black man to scale the corporate ladder than it is for a homosexual black man.
That's true.
But yeah.
To scale. And this is about design. So when we understand the strategy of the colonizer, the strategy of the oppressor, then we can defend against it, right?
That's important. We can't progress and move forward as a people on no level without the proper understanding of why they're doing it. Shout out to Yo, Miss Yo Thoughts in the building. Always wanting to ask the why. Why are you giving women of color any type of programs that appears to be a leg up to help us with our expenses so we can raise these children? What vested interest do you have in seeing that that it appears that you have a vested interest in how we raise our children? Do you do it with your family? How does your family operate? And he stated the difference historically and factually, that the farmers' wives that got subsidies, particularly back in the slavery days, their husbands stayed in the home. Section 8 and welfare requires that there is no man or father in the home. You can't be married. You can't be conjoined at the hip. You can't have him as head of household, right? So let's go.
Right? I'm not here to pass judgment on a black woman. However, I'm aware how she is utilized in this race war.
She is weaponized to emasculate her man. That is what has been absolutely implemented while we have been at the ball games. We've been cracking open our beers on the couch. When we come home from a hard day's work, we want to unplug, don't want to deal. Behind the scenes, they have been strategizing. They have been extremely strategic and super successful, to the point where I'm going to show a couple videos once we're done with this to show just how in today's society, how intolerable men and women, again, collectively, have become with one another. We can't even sit down and agree on where to go eat, who's paying for what, much less talk about ownership, getting into businesses together, agreeing on how we're going to raise kids and transcend legacies, all of that. This has been by design. This is what Smart Guy is saying. Brother Smart is right, spot on. He is saying, women, I'm not judging you, but let's make no mistake about it. You have been absolutely utilized and weaponized against your man. Make no mistake. That's exactly what's happened. You don't like it? The truth is bitter sometimes. Swallow it anyway. Let's go.
I'm not here to pass judgment on a black man. I'm aware of his lack of awareness, and his lack of receiving provision from God is why he's in that position. So I'm here to give the information to change the positions, and it's by choice whether you receive it or not.
You got that right?
Yeah.
You got that one, or you got to break it down again?
That was yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's a lot, but yeah.
no, I understand. So
That's why we got clips and reels and TikTok and shit. Take that clip. Oh, viral.
They go crazy.
yeah,
with it.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, it's
for
okay.
Sure. So now that we're here, right? Would you say a successful black man, right, and a successful black woman, even though you're not passing judgment, I understand that, would the right thing to do, following the letter of God and the direction, would be to give that black man the power, the financial, if he has his own, right, and she has her own, would it be to let him lead completely, somewhat?
Mandatory. Got to.
God, I did this in a video, right? And I was giving this lady a lesson on like strength, right? So she's in the gym. She's strong. She's like one of the strongest ladies in the gym, right? She's strong. She's strong as a right? We talking. I'm like, let me give you a lesson on masculinity and femininity, right? And a man being a protector and the reason, right? So I put 150. You like you work out a little bit.
I'm in there.
I put a 150-pound dumbbell on the floor. I said, yo, lift it. She going through war. I go like this.
Exactly. Because they're we are created specifically for certain roles, for certain tasks, with certain characteristics by God Himself. We have certain moving parts that are totally different, personality traits. They have weaponized our men and our women against one another. Okay, so I know I want to let him rock out. It's almost over. Just give me another minute, and we'll go ahead and go from there. Thank you, A Train. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your super chat, your pink bubble as well. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Great content. I try, baby. I try to bring things that are relevant and that people that we can apply certain things. I'm not right all the time. I'm not trying to be right all the time, but you can chew the meat and spit out the bones, and that's just where I'm at with it, right? So let's go, y'all.
Our positions is already installed. Our power is already installed. Okay? So I don't have to advocate for that. I don't have to solicit that. It is what it is. I'm never going to get a period. Never.
Period. Boom.
Right? So the question is to identify the benefits of being in your natural position.
Yes.
And not letting the incentive be created by someone who doesn't give a about you.
Period. Again, the why. Why would someone that has no vested interest, individually speaking, why, even if it's the government, why would the government pay my rent or most of my rent every month when they're not in my household, when they don't see how I operate? They don't know anything outside of my name and my social security number, right? So he's right. Why is the question?
Because now the feminist movement has destroyed the black family structure.
I agree with
But
that.
the black man never had enough power in America or damn near on this planet to ever enslave you or to ever oppress you. That was the white man. So now the image of the white lady with a
Yes, we can one. Yeah.
that was for the white dudes. Black man never did that. So you're fighting a war that you've never even been in danger of getting hit by a bullet of. Right? So I think the question is, what is the benefits of femininity? What is the benefits of masculinity? What is the benefits of a black woman having wisdom and sharing that wisdom with a black man? What is the benefits of the black man being a provider, being a maintainer? What is the benefits? Where's the point of reference? This is why I got a book coming out. The book is called Superhuman: The Science of Self. I'm teaching us how do we do this? I'm doing it now and getting the benefits. Well, okay. Sometimes I feel alone. I'm 2 days ago, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. I'm bugging out, right? And I'm like, I had to remind myself, okay, wait, hey, man. Is that time again? Yeah, I gotta send you a text message.
Yeah.
Right? So what's the benefits of being a man? What's the benefits of masculinity? What's the benefits of being a woman? What's the benefits of femininity? And how does that work and coexist together cohesively? And what's the benefits of that cohesiveness?
Cohesive is the word. Cohesive. Togetherness. A unit. Y'all, I'm not getting ready to tap dance around this and give all of these different synonyms for family. It is what it is. A lot of us have been duped. A lot of us realize we have been duped. But where do we go from here? And I understood her on that, but she still needed to let the brother get his thought out. So basically what he has said is that this has been by design. This has been something that has been implemented and strategically implemented over the course of many, many decades, right? If not longer than that. Excuse me. And we are at the point where when are women not just going to realize and accept that we collectively, once again, have been weaponized and utilized as a weapon against our men to divide and to disintegrate our family core and our family unit. And do we understand by now, or are we gaining some understanding that this is not going to work for our long-term survival, for our legacies? We are breeding children that have no consciences. We are breeding children that don't even know their roles. They don't know what goes along with being a male child, what goes along with being a female child, who teaches them the roles of all of that, who appropriates the assignment to carry on that legacy, because we are out of order. And how can we pass on a proper legacy if we don't even understand what we were created to do, what roles we were created to sit in? Women, you were made to sit in your femininity. Men were made providers and leaders for a specific reasons. They are partnerships, but everybody has their own role and responsibilities in that partnership, right? So I appreciate him. I'm so glad that he is able to give his perspective on all of this. And I do want to go into another man's perspective on, and he's going to kind of echo what Smart Man was saying. He's just going to add his personal twist on it, and then we'll go from there.
Reason black men have not historically been in the home. There is a reason black women have historically struggled on their own to hold households together, because we dealing with the after effects of that's been happening to us for centuries. We get to blaming each other and like that. Am I saying that a man individually is not responsible for his children? No, my G. If you're not taking care of your kids and you got the ability and space to take care of your kids, you a loser, cuz. We not gonna act like prison is not taking our men away. We not gonna act like the hood not taking our men away. We not gonna act like the stress of being a provider. Like, bruh, men's life expectancy has dropped, the lowest in America, you feel me? And this not me making excuses for, you feel me? I'm saying that when we talk about black people, when you talk about like Section 8 and shit like that, make sure you mention the housing crisis that affects majority black women, you feel me? If we gonna talk about black men not being in the home, let's make sure we talk about mass incarceration. Don't just sit up here and like hurl insults at each other. This shit delicate, my G. These people tune into this. They gonna go home with these opinions in their mouths and beat up on other black people because we say up here, bruh. It's facts that have to do with this conversation.
So he's basically echoing the same exact thing that the other brother was, Brother Smart was, by saying, look, we have all of these different components that need to be addressed and acknowledged before we can start the healing process, and we can really get together and say that this is where we need to go from here. This is how we need to move and how to start to become that cohesive unit. But the first thing we got to do is get everybody else up out our business. You got to get the government out your business. You got to get the schools out your business. Everything and any entities that have any type of direct correlation and influence into your home needs to be put out. And the men assume their rightful positions, right? So now I do want to I got to give balance here. So I'm going to give a female perspective, and this is not a reflection upon my opinion. This is just giving it context and credence to how frustrated there are some women out here are. Let's go.
Everywhere you turn is how to keep a man, how to make yourself more attractive to a man, how to man. A man should pay for this, a woman should do that. I was shut the fuck up. It's getting to the point where I honestly, and it sucks because growing up I had such a interpretation of marriage and being with a man and having a family, and all that shit is flew out the window because this generation is doomed to hell. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I at this point, I really don't care about dating a black, blue, green, tan, any man. Honestly, at the speed we're going, I feel like all I can do right now is worry about myself. I feel like that's the best thing, and I feel like us collectively should worry about the bigger shit going on versus who's gonna pay what and who's gonna do what and who's gonna do, because it's just ridiculous. I don't see no other culture on here arguing about who the hell going 50-50 or how to attract a white man, a Peruvian man. Like, you don't see none of them saying that shit. It's just us doing that. I'm tired of hearing that shit. And for the record, who cares who goes 50-50 or not? Like, it's other shit going on in society that's way bigger than that. And they got us over here brainwashed, fighting with each other and shit when we should really be equal. And it's no safe place with these men. It's just, the whole game is fucked up. The game is just fucked up.
Now, I do agree with her on the game being messed up. However, I was putting
everywhere you turn is,
because I put the comments up here for a reason, to echo all of the sentiments of the people and the women that agreed with her, right? And so it is definitely problematic when we have frustration on both levels. Neither party really wants to meet anybody in the middle. Everybody just wants to be right. They want to be heard. They want to be acknowledged. They want to be catered to. But where does this leave the family? Right? Where does this leave the family unit? Y'all, I'm sorry. I've got kind of an emergency here. So I'm going to let this one video play as well. And give me just a moment, y'all, if y'all don't mind. I appreciate your patience on this, on this. So, okay, here is a brother that's talking about anger, men and anger issues. Okay, so y'all tell me in the chat what you think about this.
Anger. That's the one area I know for sure that black men need to work on. And I do believe that out of all the expectations placed on our shoulders, emotional development and inner peace aren't at the forefront. So now you have a generation of men, or generations of men, who have never seen emotional health as paramount. And what happens is that lack of discipline manifests itself in other ways. And one of the worst ways I've seen is when our tempers flare. Like, we display a lack of empathy in our words, a lack of control in our actions, and a lack of remorse in the aftermath. And that's why I tell my bros, man, if nothing else, do not act out of anger, bro. Because a woman can make peace with many things, but the one thing that will stay with her is the image of you raging, infuriated, and showing how you handle her when things aren't going your way. Anger.
I thought that was powerful, because at least this brother recognizes that there are issues with anger, and not just with men. He was just speaking from a man's vantage point and perspective, right? But when it comes to women, definitely have anger issues, along with entitlement issues, due to the fact that also there's no accountability. You know, when you got a man that's angry, and there are more dire consequences for him expressing his anger than a woman. And of course, she's going to test the waters. She's definitely going to push the barometer, and she's going to really, at some point, depending on, you know, who she is and where she's come with all of this, and what she's angry about, react in a sort of way that's going to make the man hesitant, because the playing field is not equal for both of them. So there's a long road to healing on this entire topic. But if you know where you've come from, then you can know what direction you're going in, right? And so despite all of these challenges, the breakdown is not irreversible. You've got many Black men and women that are actively engaging in healing, self-awareness, communication, to rebuild their connections. This is not a hope is lost for all. Movements, you know, they emphasize self-love. People are exploring therapy. We've got community accountability. These things are emerging as which could be used as powerful tools to counter the historical and societal forces driving the division that has plagued our community for so long. And you also have to recognize the shared trauma alongside a commitment to understanding and uplifting one another, right? And so when we speak on the breakdown of Black relationships, it is a reflection of systemic oppression. And it's also an opportunity for us to grow collectively once we recognize these things are actually in existence and that they do exist, right? Healing requires acknowledging past, present struggles. And all of this can be done while reimagining a future where we can celebrate Black love once more, y'all, at the end of the day. But we have to be intentional. We have to establish and be vulnerable enough to reestablish deep bonds that historically have defined Black men and women and that have been strengthened and passed down to our generations. We can't allow this to be lost, right? And so with that being said, y'all, I know this is a kind of quick live, but motherly duties call and I've got responsibilities, but I did want to come through. I wanted to absolutely touch on this topic. I'm glad everyone is here. If you didn't catch it from the beginning, please feel free to go back and watch the replay for the full context. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Consider being a member. I appreciate all the super chats, all of the love, all of the engagement in the chat. Thank you to my mods for being present. Thank you to my chat for being engaging. And yeah, I appreciate all of y'all. So with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and blessings. And I'm out.